Like I don't even care. Like I'm driving, okay? Like I'm sitting here, and like we could FaceTime in the car. Or like we could FaceTime. I know. Well, I mean, it is still so yeah. And that's why I it's just like out of this world crazy. No, it's like, yeah, we have to like get kind of our like we come back and like it's kind of like all right guys, like usually get home like recording at like 9 a.m. when everybody's like settled in and stuff. I didn't get love that part of it because
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. I'm in the search editor team. Search editor, search editorial. Yes. No, not a place. It's kind of in between because we do a lot of analytics in the team. search results.
They used to be in Michigan. I don't know if you're still there. I used to work with them.
Oh no, I have.
Like you're a part of like the person that you work with.
I work with Marta, Susana, Rim.
People probably have paid.
Yeah.
You guys actually do the search direct display.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So Sarah knows how to start the interact with.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay. Awesome.
I'm on the product.
Oh, wow. Great. Glad you could be here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm one of the organizers. Yeah. So I attended one in February, and I was hooked. Yeah, I started. I went to a speaking event in February, and I got hooked. Here. Yeah. No, it was somewhere else. It was hosted by OUSC, so it's at one of their facilities. That's like basically their IT main center. But yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to. Mitch Caporzo, our founders, our funders. They're CPs. Yeah, we got a sponsor on this. We're expecting them to show up.
Who's excited for some presentations tonight?
Yeah!
Excited for that, right? Is this thing on? Awesome. Actually, we're going to need batteries for this, so if somebody can help me with that, that would be awesome. Because I know somebody else will probably need a microphone. But welcome to the final presentations of Startup Week in Education Oakland. Joining us for the first time tonight, we had 80 amazing innovators give up their entire weekend to pitch ideas about changing the future of education. They decided instead of talking about problems in education, they were going to solve problems in education this weekend. So, woo! So, of those 80 people, we actually had 70% of our entire participants pitch an idea. It was overwhelming this weekend. And then we narrowed it down to 11 teams. We narrowed it down to 4. Oh, you have to turn the mic off on one of those. Or the audio on one of those. Okay. So we now 10 absolutely amazing teams. I'm so thrilled for you to get to see every single one of them. So usually we have a wide range of skill sets here this weekend. We have some amazing youth innovators that were on several teams. Youth innovators were middle schoolers and high schoolers that kicked ass this weekend and took a few names in the process. And we also had an amazing group of educators here. I mean, how many educators are in the room? That's really cool. There were more hands than were raised, but I know we have tons of educators in the audience. Great and talented designers and developers, and then of course some business experts. We had people come from as far away as Brazil. We had somebody come from New York. We had somebody come from Utah and Colorado, Merced and Irvine, just to be here this weekend and to be with all of you amazing people innovating in education. So if you're not familiar with Startup Week in Education, this is the 51st Startup Weekend Education event around the world. Last week was our 50th event in Cape Town, South Africa, which is very exciting. And we were also competing against another Startup Weekend Education event that was happening this weekend in Atlanta. We are in a very aggressive tweet battle that we are winning. So help us continue to win and triumph against the East Coast by tweeting SWEDU Oak to whatever you tweet this tonight. And I hope they will join us in our Twitter battle against the world. Additionally, if you need Wi-Fi, this is the guest account. I'd like to recognize, first of all, our amazing organizers. These are the people that have been working since February to make this amazing event happen. So if you're an organizer, Mikel, Laura, Danielle, Stevie, and Evan, you guys can stand up and be recognized. Got this beautiful for Mills GSE and School of Education for supporting us this weekend and letting us be in this beautiful, beautiful space. So let's give Mills a round of applause for hosting. So the organizers are the ones that made it possible. I just show up. So if you want thank you, I'm not me. We also had an amazing crew of volunteers that came in to coach our teams both yesterday and today. They did pitch practice training today, and yesterday they came in and did one-on-one. Hey, your business model is a little weak. You might need a little help with that. Or, I don't really think this is going to work in higher ed. Have you tried K-12? Lots of really great advice from all of those groups. So if you're a coach this weekend, can you please stand up for us? Because we'd really like to acknowledge and thank you so much for your So, getting the show on the road here, here's the judging criteria of what the teams this weekend are being evaluated on. So their user experience design, their business model / customer validation, their technical execution, and fourth, their educational impact of what kind of impact this is actually going to have on students, teachers, and the educational system. And additionally, these teams have the opportunity, the winning team will receive a 1-year trial of, 1 year of membership to Adobe Creative Cloud. So thank you very much to Adobe for sponsoring us this weekend. So each member on the team will have access to the Creative Cloud. And you can see by just how many programs we have on the bottom that it's very, very extensive in terms of being able to utilize design and developer resources with Adobe. So at this point, I'm going to hand over the mic to our absolutely amazing judges because they have given up their time to come in here and do a job that I would never want to do of evaluating these teams and selecting winners this weekend. So here's some of our absolutely amazing rock stars that are here this weekend.
Oh yeah, sure.
And also having I'm Nita Jensen, and I'm so honored and humbled to be here. I'm in instructional technology at Lokey School District.
Hi everyone, I'm Joe Pattinson. I'm 13, 15, 25. I'm teaching at 13. It's super awesome to be doing all of these. I guess the energy of hearing what everyone will be pushing, and that's all education builds makes the teachers a little bit.
I love my I'm Greg. I'm for Lokey and now with the Rochester Foundation, where I support the investment schools and principals to use more competitive.
You guys, so as you can tell, we have a rock star team of judges to do a really hard job of evaluating our 10 amazing teams that you're about to see. I just wanted to say as an audience, if you guys could mute your phones, we're completely okay if you're tweeting on them. That's completely considered polite in this event. But also be cognizant of being the audience that you would want to have. So if you can make sure to be polite, respectful, and very aware of what's going on up here and paying attention, that would be great. So with that, Here's how it's going to start. We're going to have each one of the teams come up here, present for 5 minutes, followed by 4 minutes of Q&A from our judging panel over here. While they're doing the Q&A, the next team will have already been on deck, and they'll come set up during the Q&A, and then they will start their presentations following the Q&A. So this is our presentation order right here, which I'll move over to the side so you can actually see it while they're presenting. Yeah, that's pretty much how it's going to work tonight. And then we're going to have the judges deliberate, and we'll have a few fun activities during that. One other thing that you might want to think about is we have a community call-out board over there. So if anyone has any job postings that they want to put over there or a future event that's going on, please put them up there, and we'll cover those later. Additionally, sign up to write for us, EdSurge, and Edutopia. We've got some really great opportunities to do that stuff. There's some things just to think about. Anyway, not about me, it's about this amazing teams that are about to present. So with that, we have, kicking us off, Math with Cats. And then again, if the second team can be done here, that'd be awesome.
The time is right here, everyone. So time is
Good evening. Congratulations, everyone. We all finished. We're all live. My name is Lorry. I've been an educator in the Bay Area for the past 12 years, and we are Math with Cats. We started, everyone was curious, what is Math with Cats? Not just a cute name, it's something unique. Why? Because of this. Right? As teachers, we're trying to put out tests that are relevant, are effective, that are not reused, right? So we won't want people to have access to past tests and have an unfair advantage over other people. And we want it to be validated, right? We want it to be tests that people can finish, so we don't have these situations where teachers are regiving tests the week after because only 2 people finish. And how are we going to solve this problem, right? We want to take this 400 hours of prep time that teachers have currently and turn it into 40 hours per year. And our solution is a super question bank, where we have questions that are tagged with difficulty, with the estimated amount of time, the concepts that they cover. Right now, what we heard from teachers is, well, they're tired of reinventing the wheel every time they make a test, and what's out there is that. So 60% of teachers that we surveyed using PickFood, thank you, were willing to pay for a service like Math with Cats. On the student side, we found that studies show that an effective way of studying is to take practice tests, right? You can cut down on like spinning your wheels, not understanding these concepts. Figure out and identify what those things are, and this would use the same database, and an overwhelming 96% of the students that were in the survey said they would use it. This is what teachers currently have to deal with, right? You come home, right? You're tired from your long work day, right? But you still have to plan for the test, search things out, blah, 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 right? 9 steps later, you're exhausted, you have no family time. We don't want this. Our solution is Math with Cats, right? So what's going to happen is the teacher will submit their queries based on their parameters, what subject you're looking for, and what difficulty. And what you'll see is what's in our database that matches your criteria. We're looking for thousands of questions per subject, and the interface is extremely easy to use. The interface will just be a drag and drop interface that the teacher can pull questions, and it'll take something that used to take 6 to 10 hours down to about 30 minutes. Here's a short demo. Yes. So this is an example if you were looking at interface size of the galaxy, actually. So, if you were taking a cat class about cats, these are the questions in the database, and all you have to do is drag the questions that you like over to the right, and that populates your test. Very simple, very easy to use, and very quick. Right? That's a live demo. Right now, the landscape, there's no one that's specifically focused on this particular area, so we feel really good about this. We're going to have an adaptive element to our question bank so that the more that teachers use it, the better our question bank becomes, and we start to learn what the teacher is looking for. So we're looking to be in this upper right quadrant. We want thousands of questions per subject and to be very adaptive. Revenue-wise, we're going to target teachers first, but we're also going to think about the students and parents, right? If you want an inexpensive study tool, this is where you're going to go. And in conclusion, let's do math. Okay. Test your knowledge with kale or permeability and yum yum. That's me. Thank you very much. Woo.
So that question from the judges, really fun fact. Can you tell a little bit more about the
yeah, initially we would start populating the database with open source stuff. We're very sensitive to copyright issues. We're not just going to pull them out of textbooks. So yeah, we would start the process, but encourage the teachers to submit their own questions, because it would be able to modify the database with their own questions and make their yes, so each question that goes in the database also comes with an answer. So written solutions, more complicated. You would have to actually show them the solution, and they would have to check off whether they got it right or not. But yes, we do have that.
You guys, in your research, you solve this education. Can you look at Opus Map?
No, we didn't look at that.
Why would a student want to pay for your product instead of practicing on their online textbook that they get from the school or Khan Academy?
So the students paying would not be so much for content. In the free model, they can use our content with full capabilities, and they can modify questions in a system based on the modified questions. We have those as deep questions. What they are paying for is our storage, being able to save their tests, getting access to other people in this network, sharing with them all the space, then they can modify tests and keep it all on one platform.
Additionally, if their teachers are using it, then there would be a matrix so that they would know this is a good fit from my class, which is apparently an issue with online.
One of the things we said is that teachers realize what's out there is tough. So how do you, in addition to the great question, how do you make sure that
So there's two elements. One is that crowdsource uploaded, downloaded, just like Stack Exchange's work, which is one of the places that we're trading material from. The other is the teachers are making these exams, say like we have all of these that are going through the third grade exam, and we rank that higher, it has a higher probability of returning when people are trying to make this particular type of exam. So to ensure a higher quality, or rather a higher specificity for what the exam is trying to make, they would just enter more of those tags that correspond to what they're doing.
How do you get to a place like?
So we've talked about going to conferences, to hacking, and just using it because it's a free version right now. It would just be by word of mouth in the networks that we have.
Target teachers. So we look at like educator conferences, things like that. Make sure that we get our name out there first once it's stopped by teachers.
Where do you get the number of hours per teacher?
We have educators on the panel, and I mean this comes into like if you have a workload of say like 5 classes, and if you're making 2 versions, which is very common of the same test, right? And you're multiplied after like so based off of those estimates, we worked off of the 40 weeks.
And is your plan to start like a particular grade span? It's obviously math. Are you starting like K-12 all at once or higher ed?
So it depends on the subject. So we, for subjects like algebra, it would be that subject for this particular grade. We won't learn the grades until after people start using it and identifying their lists of their tests, because that'll add those tags for us. The subjects may be higher ed because they just don't teach that anywhere in lower grades.
The difficulty, yeah. One of the tags would be difficult. Yeah, that's good.
Thank you.
Next up, we have U-Bound.
So with that, we're U-Bound. When I grew up in New Orleans, Louisiana. That is the worst public school system in the United States. When I started to look for what are my opportunities for college, I got about 30 minutes with a college counselor, and they said, it'll be great. I had little access to resources, little access to information, and I just really didn't know what to do to get there. There are millions of students just like me, and we want to reach those students. So with that, then I'll take it away.
Great, that's all it is. So, as Chris was saying, there are millions of students in this position. They're interested in going to college, but they don't have information. Maybe they don't even know if they're a good fit for college. They don't know which college they should apply to, how to do it, when to do it, and they may not even know how to pay for the application process. That's what U-Bound is going to solve. We'll put real high school students in contact with current college students and college graduates so that they can find out how those people got where they are and how they can repeat those steps. We've created a simple prototype to show you how it works, and we'd like to walk through it with you. So for the high school students, login is pretty simple. Using social sign-in, it's one click, and they're in the website. Once they're inside, U-Bound presents them a list of advisors that we think would be a good match based on the social network. These are people that have similarities with them, maybe where they're from, sort of thing they're interested in, whatever. Doesn't require very much information. But if you want to search for specific things, we've got a search function. You can tell us what you're interested in doing, maybe where you want to be, what subject you want to study, and U-Bound will present advisors who are experts in those subject matters. If you click on any one of the advisors, you can see their academic timeline. That's what this person has been doing for the last 4 years. This is how they got where they are. That's how you're going to do it too. If you want to communicate with an advisor, just click on the chat button. U-Bound will be in connection with that person so you can find out what they did to get where they are. We also have a notification system. If there's anything coming up that a high school student needs to know about, we'll let you know about it. If there's a test that you need to take, U-Bound will remind you about it. If there's an application deadline for a college that we think you should be considering, U-Bound will remind you of that. So that's what the basic site looks like. Now we want to tell you a little bit about how that happens. There are other organizations working in this sphere. There are for-profit companies, there are non-profit organizations that either put high school students in contact with college students through our mentoring program, maybe in person. There are websites that give a lot of information, but they assume that high school students know what questions to ask. We're doing something a little bit different. We're saying we want to give information that all high school students in the entire country need to get into college. You may not know what questions to ask, you'll find the answers anytime. For high school students, always free. We'll reach out to school districts, let them know which alumni are in their area that would be a good fit for their current students. Always free for school districts. For colleges, it's free to set up a basic page. You can tell students what your college is all about and what it takes to get inside. If you want to reach out and recruit specific students who would be a good fit, you can pay an extra fee to do that. And if you want to recruit or advertise for students who maybe wouldn't even find you, you can pay for that as well. Once we've got a good user base, then we can also sell advertising to companies that want to reach out to that key demographic, high school and college students. We've got their attention, and we can give it to you. This is something that we care about a lot. I have experience in higher education for years. I'm very passionate about it. We have an expert engineer, we have an expert business person, an expert designer, subject matter expert, and a current teacher, and we've got an expert marketing and mentorship expert. With your help, we want to make this a real thing. We want to take it on the road and make it possible for every single high school student in the country to get information to get into college. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Noel. Just a correction, I'm not a tutor, I'm a teacher and a tutor at the I recently graduated from university and I'm come to know quite a few mentoring programs at UC. There are a lot of communities of color and students that come from the international at university who want to convey this message and want to share this. And students who they identify with 4 years ago, who also remember international, who also had career counseling facilities at their high school, but were never inclined to visit them. Just because there was a kind of disconnect. They, in their circle, maybe they didn't know people who went to college, or college was not mentioned for them, or maybe they weren't pushed so far. So there are definitely students in college and definitely outside of college who identify with students who lack the information and lack the navigation. We all just calling up. So there are students in college and there are students outside of college who are already doing things. So on online platforms that connect them this way, there is something like that. And so that's where you don't find navigation.
Talk to any colleges them buying service.
Yeah, so I actually just quit my job at NYU a week ago. So this is something that I know about a lot. I can't tell you but I'm very familiar with people, so I can't actually quote them on it, but I've spoken with people in about different places.
Does NYU get few applicants?
I can send you a lot of research on it. NYU is doing a terrible job. They have a lot of money, that's not the problem. They have a lot of money per student, that's not the problem. They're just not getting them to apply, they're not getting them to show up and say. It's something they care about. A lot of people care about it in the universities, especially a place like NYU. But they just don't have the manpower, and they don't have the resources to make it happen.
I'm curious, motivation and then
So I believe the social platform is why we look at that model. Usually when you go to these websites, the first thing you get is a bunch of information about how much you can for this place that you want to go to, or how well the resource has to be to get there. who's included first, you can be ready to say, hey, you know, that person from us, oh, that person that is close like that. So you can be more interested in getting from the person than and now it's up to
So that's one seed, and user gets there, but part of the marketing plan is to work with school districts, schools, and try to get them a test kit, teach them very quickly how to onboard their students who rank very hot, to get them matriculated through all the way to the application process.
So next up, we have Team Watch Talk. So let's welcome Team Watch Talk.
Hi guys, I'm Jeff, and I'm a para-educator, and I work with kids that are nonverbal and have trouble communicating. And the way that we address that issue right now is by using iPads as a communication device. So there are a few things that are wrong with this. Number one, there is a mobile problem. They aren't able to bring it into the community, bring it into the bathroom, shower with their iPad. That's just not possible. Furthermore, the ability to use one of these apps that's in the market right now is extremely difficult, and it frustrates the people that I work with. So if we could go to the next slide, please. What we're working with right now, like on Friday, I had an interaction with a child where he wanted to go to the bathroom. So in this case, here on the left, what's in the market now, they asked to go to the bathroom and they press 4 icons. Like, I want, then they go to places, it leads them to the next page, and then they say, I want to go to the bathroom. And the problem with this is 4 icons equals 4 chances of failing. So by the time he got, I want to go to the bathroom, he had already had an accident because it took him 3 trials to actually say it correctly. So with our app, what we want to do is make it streamlined, clean, and effective. So let's go to the next and see how it works.
I need the bedroom. I'm hungry and would like some pizza.
Okay, so it's a little bit easier, and as you can see, it's going to be smaller. It's going to be on a watch. So it addresses the 2 problems. Number 1, simple. Number 2, we're going to be able to take it outside.
Thanks, Jeff. So as you can see, that looks like a really simple app. It must be designed by a teacher that actually works in the field and not someone that's outside trying to tell you how you should run it like you saw from the previous one. So we started out this weekend doing some research. We put some surveys out, got some information from parents and also from special ed teachers. And so that helped us kind of frame how we can make modifications to the prototype that you saw. And also told us some information with some one-on-one interviews that teachers did see this as a benefit compared to what they currently use. Also, some parents said that they were willing to pay a subscription fee, like $5 a month, as well, because we do have the school parents at home as well as for teachers. So it gave us the additional indication there. Doing some market analysis, if you look back in the year 2000, about 150 students or youngsters in the United States were diagnosed with autism. The latest data in 2012 was about 168 right now. So the trend is increasing and it continues currently on that same path. And so more and more students are being diagnosed. The numbers turned out to be about 1 million students in the United States that have autism, and about a quarter of those are nonverbal. And so our app would apply to those students there. There's a current app in the market. One of the leading ones is sold over 100,000 units on the Apple Store. It goes for $220, which seems extreme based on app standards. But before the iPad devices, these departments actually spent thousands of dollars on unique special devices to help communicate. So that's actually a cheap price compared to previous. And so it shows that there's a market there already. Our business plan is a freemium model where the app would be for free for the basic communication that you saw in the prototype. And what we do is we start with just community schools there and do a trial there, get some data, so we have a case study, and then we can actually take it into administrations from other schools and actually into departments right away. And since it's free, teachers are free to adopt it right away without having their IT departments and that support right away will pay for that. And then in order to make money, the next step coming is analytics. That's a big thing for schools these days, getting data on kids and what they're doing. And for this one, our app would allow them to actually get data on what the students requested through the app, how often they requested it, and then actually give feedback through the app in terms of maybe locking out some icons if the student hasn't done a certain task, and so you get some behavioral modification there as well.
Thank you, Glenn. And so my dream, our dream, is to make sure that this app is going to replace the iPad. Make sure that kids, instead of being granted iPads to communicate, they're granted watches. And they're using our app. And we want this thing to communicate with us not only through the kids and them asking us what they want, for what they want, but to communicate with us while they're sleeping. So using the watch's capability to tell us how many hours of sleep you're getting the night before. So when they get to class and they're asking for an app, oh, that is a valid request because you only have 3 hours. Furthermore, with the ability to track heart rate on top of that, you're able to find so much more in terms of biometric feedback. So really, guys, what we want is for these kids to communicate. So help us help them communicate inside and out.
This is really cool. So, do you think it's hardware and software? Like, what do
Ideally, we'd like it to be hardware and software, but we know that there are drawbacks right now because not everyone has the capacity to get a smartwatch. So we're thinking to start off, use iPhones, use smartphones, and adapt the app to that, and eventually down the road, make it a smartphone.
So you said there's about $250,000. Is there a full market you think?
Okay, yeah, I do think that there's a broad market for early childhood development. So kids like 3 or 4 years old that are having a hard time with expressing their needs, I think this would be something
Let me touch a little bit for what is your competitive advantage? Is it on the watch or is it on analytics?
Well, right now our competitive advantage is the fact that it has a user interface. On top of that, we are addressing the idea that it's not being, or we're addressing the fact that you can't use communication outside the classroom. So it's mobile and it's easy to use. That's a competitive.
Yeah, can I just add to that? This is from Jeff saying that often in the classroom they use sign language. Sometimes when the kids don't know how to use signs, they use the iPad, but they can't get out of the classroom. When they're home, they don't always have that. And so it's not consistent. And so even though right away not everyone would get, be able to maybe afford a watch, you can see the price. A lot of departments do have some of that money, and so it could be a start. And having a watch all the time, as you said, if they took it home, you can see how much they spent that night. You can see if their mood is changing based on their heart rate. There's a lot of extra feedback you can get that could get early adoption and then proceed later. Like maybe there's a market in a couple of years we use watches like they are with Android and iPhone.
We saw a video. Was that a kid?
No, that was Glenn using that.
Is that so? It's a real working live app.
Yeah. So that's the prototype, but it's real working. I develop apps, so I develop apps that have some on the Android store, and so I just developed a quick prototype there. But it's really quickly, very easy to get the basic demo of those apps that scroll with that basic interface.
And have you talked with more like autistic researchers and stuff around balance? I mean, I'm just wondering if there are balance between kids using the tool, but then also ultimately developing themselves.
So I talked with 2 teachers, and they said that if there's an intense one-on-one instruction where you want to teach kids grammar and stuff, and you have that device, you're going to spend an hour, it's worth it. Like you can spend time doing that. But for an example, which I said, a kid wants to just go to bed. You want to communicate with needs now. You don't want to have an English lesson or a grammar lesson. That's where it's useful. So it's, they could have applications for those other apps, even though they would be smartable. But for your communication, one example a parent said on the feedback on the Apple Store there to that app was, imagine if you were given 1,000 flashcards of words, threw them on the floor, and you made a sentence. Go, what do you want? That's what it's like asking these kids to do on a quick basis.
When you talk to parents, did anything come up around the idea that you're going to know stuff about the kids sleeping or stuff that matters? Were they excited? Were they happy that you would know that information?
I can't speak for the parents, but I can speak for myself as an educator. When a child comes into class and they're already agitated, there's a story behind that. It's not just random, it's not just chance. So we're trying to think that story as best we can, and I think this is a chance. So I can't speak for the parent, but I imagine they were in our place, they got to know it.
As a parent, how do you feel? Any other questions? All right, thanks, guys.
Woo!
Hi everyone, this is Andy, Gloria, Kevin, Ray, and Myra, and together we form Common Ground. So I've been teaching mathematics for about 10 years now, and one of the most arduous components of my job is grading papers. It takes forever. And now Common Core has compounded that issue because we want to give more thorough and more qualitative feedback. So the first thing I have to do if I want to assess a student is unpack the Common Core standard. After I've unpacked the Common Core standard, then I have to turn that into a comprehensive rubric that students can understand. Once I turn the Common Core standards into the rubric, then I have to hand grade at least 100 papers using the rubric. And after I grade the 100 papers, then I have to input that data one by one into my gradebook system. So Common Ground is a comprehensive solution that takes all those many steps and makes it into one common solution.
And so how is Common Ground going to solve that problem? We're going to provide teachers with pre-populated, customizable rubrics that are already aligned with Common Core state standards. They're going to be easily and seamlessly uploaded into their already existing gradebooks. And lastly, we're going to provide parents and students with timely feedback that ties their students' performance into the Common Core state standards and where there are successes and where there are areas of growth.
So now I'd like to walk the day of Tamira, a teacher who's begun using our Common Ground platform. Tamira begins by logging in to our teacher platform. Upon logging in, she sees the home dashboard, which she can see the classes she's teaching, as well as the rubric she's already created. But today, Tamira is going to create a new rubric for a new assignment. She fills in the template name, the class, the subject, and the string, which happens to be geometry. Now she sees all the Common Core standards, and if she needs more detailed information, she can always check to make sure. So now she creates a template. One thing to notice on the left-hand side is that the skills for this Common Core standard template is already pre-filled, pre-populated, and she can even add new skills or customize the columns. So she adds the assignment name, the student name, and she begins grading right away. Now traditionally, Tamira would have had to look at the Common Core standard, decode it, enter it manually, and it would have taken her a long time. But this has made the process so much simpler. Now that she's done grading, she can even check in on a specific class and see which assignments she has completed, which are in progress, and which she needs to start grading. And she can even check in on the students to see how they've been doing throughout the semester. She can also upload and export their data straight into the school's existing gradebook solution. And lastly, she can check specifically on one student learner profile and see how they're doing in specific areas so she can help.
This weekend, we spent a lot of time gathering data from teachers, students, and parents to find out if there's a sincere need for a product like Common Core. So, John Kroll, the CTO of Oakland Unified, said that he hasn't come across a Common Core aligned grading rubric like what we have, and that there's definitely a need for a product like ours in this school. Out of the surveys that we took, 80% of teachers said that if there was a product like Common Ground available, they would likely use our service. And also, Dilip Andhra, a parent as well as an entrepreneur, said that he's completely on board and that he hopes that we can make this happen.
How are we going to make it happen? So, our model for revenue is an institutional model where individual schools or school districts pay per student fee per using the product per year. This is a typical model for this type of software. When we talk to technology administrators in local schools this weekend, we found out that they're looking for a few things when adopting the software. They want to know, one, will the software work as it's intended? Two, is that software getting a lot of traction among its users and teachers? And three, does it integrate with existing systems and solutions they already have? So we want to address those things with our two-market strategy, starting with initial promotion. We'll pilot it with schools, giving the app for free to teachers. offering professional development to teach them how to use the tool, and conducting an independent research study to evaluate the tool's effectiveness. Using this information, we can address the administrators for our students. We also can integrate our system with current institutional IT solutions using an API like Club. We think this builds a compelling argument to adopt our program for schools, districts, and others.
Finally, if you are a teacher in need of more time, a student looking for ways to improve, or a parent looking for ways to assess your student's performance, Common Ground is a solution for you. Thank you.
Yeah, I think the most poignant difference is where you start from, like the starting point. So usually in a gradebook platform, you start by like creating a gradebook. But in this platform, you actually start like with the assessment of the assignment, and it self-populates into a gradebook. So it's more of a rubric generator, but like that's the first function. No, it's just a rubric generator, so that you can give more qualitative feedback on assignments. And it's common core aligned, so you can potentially use it to assess all assignments in your unit. You can customize them.
Who writes the first rubrics for common core second grade?
Yes. And potentially you'd like to do like a hackathon model, so we kind of have other teachers come in and kind of unpack the standards with us and vote and kind of vet the impact of them.
Would you think about any way, when I was thinking about you creating a paper, so have you thought about a way where you let kids access the system to give each other feedback? What that might look like? Like when kids get like access to things, submit their work next to a teacher.
Yeah, so in the beginning we showed us now going to the teacher portal. Eventually for future roadmap, we're going to have a student portal as well as a parent portal. And for the student portal, they should be able to give each other feedback, check each other's learner profile, help where maybe they have a strength and another student here has a particular skill.
So when Myra clicks on the different boxes, who gets to see that right now?
So right now, Myra generally uses it herself for the rubric as it auto-populates into the workbook. We were creating a solution initially to help teachers save time. What we eventually want to see is for her to be able to immediately email these to the parents so that they can work directly with the students. We'll also have recommended resources for the skills of their child. And additionally, the next step would be to get the students to put it themselves as well.
About where the pay
So when we talked to John Gold, the CTO, he said that for these types of products, it depends on exactly what it does, but he said $5 per student might be the model, and he went through these kind of things that he's concerned about, namely that it integrates with school systems and that it's getting traction.
So I think one of our first steps was making sure that we could export down to CSV, which is a common way to kind of upload files straight into an existing gradebook solution that schools already have. And this made John really comfortable because it's not completely new. It integrates directly into something the school district already uses.
Yeah. What is barriers to entry for somebody else who wants to do this? Is it like
Yeah, so I think the barriers are, so I think eventually what we want to do is not just provide the rubrics. So obviously there's that huge upfront cost of kind of decoding all the Common Core standards and having them pre-populated. But what's going to happen is the teachers are going to be able to add skills to pre-populated skills. And essentially all the teachers adding the data is going to make this a really self-recommended system where teachers, we can recommend to teachers that here are what skills teachers put on the most. So it's going to kind of perpetuate and be kind of a barrier that's hard for other new entrants to immediately come in. So.
Welcome
Good evening, class, and welcome to Astronomy 101. Today we're going to be learning about eclipses.
Slow down.
Did you guys understand what he's saying at all? I did not. Now, remember a situation where you're sitting in a large lecture hall, but maybe you were too afraid to speak up. I was always in that situation. This is very, very common in large classrooms, where students don't feel comfortable to ask a question. Because students are afraid to speak up, professors and curriculum developers are out of the feedback loop when it comes to student opinion and educational content. Therefore, students don't receive education that is tailored to the way that they learn. Now, imagine a world where students are heard without speaking up. That's class training. We are a conduit for education, creating a world where students can drive education in the direction that they want to go. Now, I'm a professor and I'm giving you a lecture. As I'm lecturing, I can see my dashboard. When I see indicators of confusion, I can choose to repeat the concept or address the questions asked in class. My lecture is also recorded in my personal record. Every question is time-stamped so that I can go back to the relevant points in my lecture. For example, during a lecture, I put up this image. And confusion increases. Without this data, I wouldn't even know that that image was helpful for you guys at all. But with ClassStream, I can change the course content so that it's more clear for you. All right, let's see exactly how I'm doing.
I'm a student of this lecture. I have a question. Well, luckily, I have this app that could send questions directly to my professor's page. I'm going to submit my question, and it'll pop up on your dashboard.
So, how are we going to make money? Well, that is a great question. We designed ClassStream for college professors looking to increase engagement with their students and enhance their personal growth as educators. Initially, we will bring ClassStream to professors that we have personal relationships with that are willing to try our product for free. Through their usage, we can refine our product offering, marketing strategy, and data analytics. Thereafter, we will expand to institutions that demonstrate technology adoption and innovation in the classroom. Our product will be a premium subscription service. The live in-class module will be provided for free for professors and students to use. This enables easy adoption by users, extensive data collection as they use ClassStream, and allows students to benefit right away. Professors or administrators can also pay for additional analytics at a yearly fee. This portion of the tool will facilitate teacher development and growth. Here's what professors are already saying about our product. As you can see, we've already garnered a lot of excitement and potential for our product. And as part of surveys that we took this weekend, a large portion of teachers are already utilizing technologies in the classroom that allow easy integration with ClassStream. And looking externally at our competitors, you can see that ClassStream is the least disruptive in class and the easiest to adopt for users. Now we've seen how ClassStream can be a powerful tool. Let's see what the future looks like. The data that is accrued by natural usage of ClassStream is critical for the continued development of educational content by edtech companies and curriculum designers. We see this as potential growth in revenue for us in the future. We are ClassStream, and we're bringing back student voices to education. So we have a really big team of three of us looking up and answer questions, but there are actually like 11 of us, and I want to make sure you understand.
Are they anonymous when they're asking the questions?
So the students are anonymous to each other. The professor can see their names, that if the student needs to continue help and actually help that student, they can send the student.
I'm just wondering, the same students that would be so free to speak up in the live classroom, I'm wondering if, were they, because it's a large classroom, if the other students that they're afraid to speak up in front of, they feel like the professors themselves would be actually
Yeah, that's a great question. So we did some interviews with students. They said that they don't want to seem like a bigot in front of friends. It seemed like they were more afraid of the students. And when we asked the question, if the professor just knew you were the one asking questions, you just not, would it still be intimidating for you and the rest?
Can I elaborate a little bit further? That could be one of the factors that cause intimidation. It's a great point. And one of those we discussed is kind of the easy implementation of creating an anonymous kind of feedback. But as an initial rollout, without doing great to start off with that ability for professors to be able to reach out students after.
So the professors will like have a notebook doing like recording that when a student out in the lecture hall is confused, they can like thumb it up, thumb it down, send a question, say I don't get it, make a comment, and at that point it's timestamp. So that's how the professor will go back later and see what's going on.
Yeah, that's right. So the professor will be able to either kind of say, slow down, I don't get it, which is kind of a separate idea, or they can ask a question, and all of that is timestamped, and so after the fact, the professor can look through the lecture.
Are you expecting, are the professors excited that you spoke with, are they excited about like, monitoring a feed as they lecture, or are they just hoping to see it all after the fact and kind of reflect on it?
So I think we saw both cases depending on the professor. I think some of our professors were really excited to be able to have kind of like a fact check as they're going through the class and seeing the challenges kind of rising up. And so if they say something and they see a lot of slow down, then they can slow down their class. But we also heard professors that, and students as well, that this would be a really great way to look back on the professional development and see what parts of your lecture material are you most interested in.
One more question. Is there a part where the professor then, if they're one of those professors that wants to monitor the paper, do they have the ability to push a question to the students to just force them to answer something they want to get a gut check of the room, as you said?
I think that we discussed as far as like a version 2, having more of a clicker kind of option and pushing questions and having a code directional. But as far as like the base functionality, we really wanted to be able to give students a voice and collect their feedback and kind of go through that. Yeah, so, absolutely. So the basics of the data really revolves around it can either be video, audio, or PowerPoint lectures, so it can be supplementary material that they purchase. And the data is going to be the student's understanding. So if they say, I don't understand, or if they ask a question, it's just going to be the student's questions, or the degree of not understanding in the classroom. So there's no personal data within this work.
Okay, now we're taking a 5-minute stretch break. So remember, you can stand up and put your arms in the air, like you just don't care. Yeah. And then all the way down. And now our organizers are doing our cookie break. So please get your blood sugar up with our delicious cookies and help us eat them. There's cookies in there, cookies in the beginning, cookies everywhere. This is only a 5-minute break.
I was really
How's it going?
Actually, that happened on Friday, and I was like, yeah, say that. I was getting, I was like, yeah. The bag is hot.
Yeah. You ready? Board ready.
Okay, we'll all stand here.
I feel like I'm the one over here. Yeah, that's fine.
Hey, good, how are you?
Pitching, huh?
I know, nervous as all shit.
You were good when you started, though. With your first pitch.
I know, oh yeah, that plummeted. So
Yeah.
hopefully that trend is set.
Okay.
Now there's a chair with your name on it.
I know, but I wanted to take a turn.
Okay, everyone can come and have a seat. We're going to begin the pitches again. Thank you so much.
Will you please take your seats? We're ready to get started. Hey, how about you can hear me? How about you can hear me? Sit down if you can hear me. Thanks, guys. Okay, awesome. Up next we have Team FF2, which they will explain to you. So, you can have your attention focused to these guys. Let's give them a warm welcome.
You guys will get that later. Hi, I'm Lawrence Wong, and I'm here to talk to you about FF Squared. So kids today are watching a ton of television, and frankly, we as parents feel a little bit guilty about that. But then we as parents like to watch television too. So let's think about consuming television is consuming media in a very passive form, and that time goes to waste, and we feel within our souls that that is wrong. So what we've done, or what we believe in, is teachable moments. And teachable moments happen in every second of every day. and including this time where you're kind of passively consuming mindless information. So what we've created is a mobile platform which integrates with live broadcast TV and uses through a series of APIs and pushes out questions to mobile devices to increase engagement, change that passive experience into an active educational learning experience. So this weekend, the first target we kind of went after was sports. Because sports in general, when you think about it, it's stats. And stats is math. And math is simple, it's logical, and a lot easier to understand than neurolinguistics. So this weekend we set out to create an application. We created a live demo, which you can actually go to at demo.ffsquared.com and play around. I think the Niners game is going. So you'll be able to kind of interact with the math questions that comes from that game. And what this really does is build relevance to math, right? When you're working through a problem set or college, or a workbook, you're doing these math problems about some fictitious trains, traveling towards each other for some strange reason, but it has no relevance to you. But like in this situation, you have the game in front of you, the play in front of you, and that math question you're about to answer is directly relevant to what you're doing now. So we realized that humans are social creatures, right? So we built in some social aspects to this. You have a friend list, you can interact, you can poke them, you can talk to them, and then we also took it to a higher level where you can compete on a team level against the other 31 squads in NFL. So what about validation? We took to Twitter, we started tweeting at NFL players, we started tweeting fantasy football, Sirius XM broadcasters, and we got a pretty good response. We had 35 retweets, interactions, and then we actually got a job application. They wanted to work for our company. So that was pretty cool, and it seems like we're on to something here. Now, what about the surveys? We talked to parents, we talked to teachers, or we talked to students, and we talked to teachers. The students validated that what they're doing when they're watching TV is that they have their mobile phone with them. They're consuming media in a dual modality, right? It's not a single screen anymore. And for parents, we kind of talked about this passive experience that students are going through and watching TV and mindlessly kind of droning away, and they totally agree, and they totally get it. They're like, wow, if you can create something that engages my student, turns that passive experience into an educational, interactive experience, we would be totally on board. And in turn, we had a live launch today, and we had live launch Raiders game, 15 minutes. In 15 minutes, we had 190 data points, which I think is pretty cool. Now, we're starting with math, but our vision is much wider. So let's think about other educational venues. Discovery Channel, Shark Week. Imagine you're watching Discovery Channel, it's cool, you see sharks eat things, and then you're getting you get a text or a push saying, hey, we know that you're watching this, let's ask you a question, and use it to augment what you're learning about. And what about content that wasn't originally educational, like The Simpsons, right? At no point did they think to use this as an educational tool. But what if you could use this and say, hey, what's that green rod that's falling down Homer's shirt? And did you know that it's a radioactive rod? Maybe now you did. So our business model is simple. It's premium for users, and we're going to white label this for companies like Discovery Channel, Disney to use our app, use our platform. So our team, we are led by an amazing 7th grader, Sarah, who is our CEO, our user advocate, our social media expert, and she has led our team of misfits through the weekend. And our team has a lot of education, some education technology experience, startup experience, and a ton of other stuff. So I'm happy that I was on this team. Woo! Yes.
I guess it's more from the student side. But other students kind of what we've been thinking around. So every kid that we talk to says that they use their mobile phone while they're watching TV. Every single kid. The percentage of the surveys now are like 80% are actually doing that. Mostly they're interacting with other kids, and that's why we think seeing your friends there from Facebook and like, hey, I got 10 answers, you got 9 answers,
They said if it was a fun app, they would do it. And the reason that they text while they're watching is so they won't be bored during the breaks and the commercials and the timeouts and stuff, and also just to keep up with their friends. So we think this app is totally good.
No, I apologize because I was totally texting while you were. How does it know what show I'm watching? Do I tell it I'm watching the Niners game?
Yeah, you pick it. You pick the show you're watching.
And who writes the questions?
Yeah, so it's basically, so there's a lot of data that's feeding through all those, so all those stats that are coming through, you can basically take that data and turn it straight into a matchup that we wrap around that data.
So they're like pre-questions created in.
Pre-questions
like,
created.
But the yards on that play might populate.
Correct, exactly. Yeah. Yes, exactly. You already know there's 100 yards in the field, you know there's 10 yards for first down, well, just going 4 yards, 10 minus 4, you need 6 yards to go for the first down. So that stuff, the data is actually just feeding through, so all you have to do is that stuff.
Is this, sorry, one more. Is this like student facing or kid facing? Or are you going to try and go to teachers and
parents,
kids on it?
Parents.
The shows that kids may be watching that are like documentaries, is there a way to watch and come back together? And we can go out and like dividing time instead of just doing it after.
Yeah, that's a great question. And in the initial version, let's get it right in a narrow focus. But I think that's a great way to engage students overall.
Yeah. My other question was, I have students and new ones in that class. You also investigated what they actually watch. Like in terms of not TV.
Yeah. So I guess a big player in this space would be Netflix, right? So any a la carte on-demand VOD would be the next tackle to get over. And imagine this is a way to reach people who couldn't be touched by commercials. So maybe you all start watching the videos. That's very possible. But I think that's a great point to bring up, and that's something we need to tackle.
What's the incentive for you to do this? Is it like that mom told me this, or is it like this is more fun than
So most of the commercials tend to be boring, so this is something to do in the time. But also for a sports one, you represent your home team. So every time you answer a question, you get a point for your team. So you are trying to have your team be the #1 team across all the other teams that are competing.
Go Niners.
It obviously has to be fun. Like the kids we interviewed said, if it were fun, so we have to make it fun, right?
I think you see with this, if you're developing mind actually, I'd rather just not period. I'm just wondering.
Absolutely, we want to fight that battle. This is not the problem we can't solve with time. What we're saying is, imagine just really quickly a dashboard where we can do these statistics.
Okay, so next up we have Crazy Calendar led by 2 of our awesome youth innovators this weekend. So, yay, youth innovators!
Hello, my name is Jack Irvin. I'm Brian Tinsley, and we are 8th grade students in Sacred Heart Schools. And so we have a great friend, Sonia. He's a great kid, but in school, not so much. Sorry, Sonia, if you're seeing this. So, Sonia is a straight C student, but it's not his fault. One of the problems is homework. Homework is being pushed on kids all day, and it's hard for them to manage it because they don't know when they're going to remember what to do from it. 2 is the students themselves. They don't know how to organize their homework, and they don't know what they're doing. And teachers don't know what students are committed to outside of school. So we surveyed our friends, and we figured that 25% of them use something to manage their homework, 37% another calendar to manage their extracurricular, and 0% have integrated source.
So the solution, a web and mobile app social calendar that kids really want to use because kids are social. We took 3 aspects that kids like: game mechanics, social and collaboration skills, and it still promotes good work. So here's around.
Crazy Calendar makes part of their money with commercial or paid ads. So if you look in the top right corner, there is an ad up there, and after their pay, yeah, so it's an ad. Students can modify their calendar with their free or paid themes. So they can get stickers, they can change the theme. This is obviously a girly theme. Students can add their extracurricular or family schedules. Schools can pay to get students' workloads analyzed, and so I can view and get my soccer team schedule from the soccer coach. Let's click on the map. Just like Foursquare, I can check in and get points. I see my friends that have already checked in, and on the pop-up window, and I can pop up another window to Google, which is Google Hangout, which is attached, so we can work together. Or I can click Do Not Disturb so that I don't have my friends disturbing me. If my teacher tags a Common Core number, right where like a little half-eaten apple is, we can there'll be resources available like Sacred Heart or like tutors, Khan Academy videos, or other programs. When I check out, you can see that I get points, and there's also badges. So I got the Noble badge for math.
So the analytics are an important part of our app where the school can just take the data that you provided and send it to the parents in the school. And we believe that schools would be willing to pay for this data because it's useful for the students' learning experience.
The market size. There are 55 million students in the U.S. and $1 billion is spent every year in platform and admin education technology.
These are some of our friends that have surveyed.
Our business model, so it's a free app, and students can pay for different themes or stickers that they can add to the calendar. Some of the Common Core resources pay for Crazy Calendar, and schools and parents can pay to receive analytics of students' work behaviors and merge iCal feeds from Crazy Calendar.
So come talk to us if you're an investor or a student, and you can change the world. You get to edit your own calendar, and you can put your own stuff in there. Yes. Yes, it does.
Does the student have to still write down their homework, or is it just there when they open up for a login?
Well, you can download the iCal file from the teacher, so that it automatically.
You can do the same for like soccer practice or like church even, so like different outside school activities.
Is it the students paying or is it their parents?
Their parents paying for like no, it's like a free app, but they're paying for like the analytics. So to see if that Maxine spends 3 hours on homework every single night, and spends on average like 3 hours at football every day. So like facts like that. They might want to change some of their habits, like the analytics.
Is there a way for students to get feedback about the homework assignment or something?
Well, yes, you can check in at that exact moment when they're doing the assignment. And if you want to chat, you can get the Google Hangout where you can collaborate.
There's a link like in the, or if the iMessage, just click on it, it's
So, for the first question, you can, we're thinking more middle school to high school. And for privacy, the only people saying it are the people who are allowed to request because it's anonymous when you send it to school. And the people at the company don't see it because it's like an envelope that passes just straight through it. It's not open. So you don't get to see what's inside. You just get to see the company who's happening. You don't get to see what they're doing.
So if you're going all the way to high school, if I'm a 10, 11, 12 grade, why wouldn't I just use it?
Because ours is a lot more fun. And it gives you direct links to help for homework. The calendar can do that.
also for Google Calendar, you get to put everything in yourself, and it takes like a lot of like work to do every single thing. But this, it's just already on there. Like teacher gets everything, all your coaches do everything, so it's like all there. And it's a lot easier.
Or we could advertise for our school. Maybe there's a big football game coming up. We can advertise for that. And other than that, we have to really talk about it.
Maybe going to different schools and proposing to the principal or other authorities in school.
I don't know about you, but they may have showed up from the adult teams here because they were pretty phenomenal. So let's give it another round of applause. Really great job. The next team that we have up is spatial intention. They changed their names. We all know what it was. You have inside jokes here now.
So I got a quick story to tell before we get started. A couple weeks ago, I'm checking Class Dojo, looking at my son's grade, and really realizing that he's not really challenged and feeling like this is going on. So I went to talk to his teacher, first teacher parent of the year, and he basically told me that that he has 32 students, and my son is advanced, and quite frankly, at times he just. And so the inspiration for this pitch comes from that is represented in that story, and spatial intention is really about inspiring teachers to think differently and reimagine what their classrooms could look like. Because we know that the old way doesn't go there under a ton of pressure to do things differently. So why classroom design? Well, one study showed that classroom design can be attributed to up to 25% positive or negative of student outcomes. And in the study, the difference between the great designs and the poor designs is up to a full year's worth of academic work.
So what is spatial intentions? It's an imagination forum where teachers can come in and reimagine their classrooms with the resources they have. They can explore the database of predetermined models, of design models that we have in our database. And it's a community where teachers can share their models, share their advice and feedback on how to implement these models. For me, as a teacher, as a first-year teacher, I had no idea how to set up my classroom to support my students and their needs. Spatial intentions will do that. How it does that? It's going to take in the information. I'm going to create a profile and enter in information based on my students' needs and based on the resources I have available to my classroom. Then it'll generate a design based on that information.
So when the design comes up, some of the things, we did some surveys, we interviewed some teachers, and we asked them, if you were given a classroom model, what sorts of things do you want to accompany the model that was generated for you? And they said, what we want to see is we want to know like how the transitions work with this model. And so in the time space on this screen, you would see sort of how to use time in the classroom with the model. They wanted to know like how would I use community partners that I may already have access to or leverage my parent in the model. And that's where the people category would say, in this model, and based on your profile, you could probably leverage who you told us you have in this way. In terms of technology, you might enter into your profile, I have 12 devices. And so the model would then show you how you can use those devices in space and so on.
The validity to this, when we talk to teachers, it's out there. The horror stories you heard about new teachers going through programs like Teach for America or just started out in a district where they were culturally different from their students. They didn't know how to manipulate or use the resources they had to best meet their students' needs. When we talk to teachers, they're like, oh, that would be great. I was deer in the headlights. I didn't know how to set my classroom. So rolling forward, moving from our MVP, we would first diversify the filters so that teachers could search for specific needs like English language learners or specific skill sets relevant today like collaboration. Also, we would allow teachers to share videos so that they can see how students are working in classrooms, classroom models that they're being presented, such as D, how is he doing in a different type of model? Lastly, and most importantly, this is dynamic, it's user-generated. It's going to evolve through the use through teachers sharing ideas and models that are going to keep the material relevant and current to our stakeholders' needs. So, our company is going to be a 501c3. Our revenue source is going to be from foundations that want to fund social impact models. To connect and to acquire our customers, we're going to first partner with teaching prevention programs and nonprofits like Teach for America that are churning out thousands of new students every year. Students with little experience, little understanding of how important the environment is.
So is this the kind of thing that teachers would use during the semester, or do they use it through the semester?
So both. So a lot of times you see most of the classroom are the long-term classroom design going on for the year, obviously. So teachers can come the year heavy away, but then we want the product to evolve such that you can actually think about smaller features within the model, depending on the lesson you're teaching or the standard you're teaching to or the curriculum at a particular part of the year. So it can be ongoing.
So if you have like one teacher who's amazing for the classroom, and then other classes with things that really focus on all, or students have more light and
Well, the thought that I was about to say before the talking started. So we were going to start by going through organizations. So if it gets to the classroom level, we're also going to approach school districts and their offices of innovation. So through them, we could reach current teachers and introduce them to the school and get them using the popular methods.
I also work with schools in my current district to redesign the entire school, and what I find is that there are teachers that are more progressive and forward, others that want to do things that maybe the whole level of the whole school is ready for, or maybe there's some issues that the policies in the way of that. But I think that will get at that.
At this time, it's primarily teacher feedback because they're the ones witnessing the effects of the classroom model that they are using. So in our share forum, teachers are looking at the models, they're commenting, they're talking with other teachers, saying this worked for my classroom management or the time management, this model didn't work for these spatial reasons. So it's mostly teachers communicating with teachers.
We did do some student interviews for basic with one of the classrooms so we could continue that going on.
Did you say you're going to get going through that? Did you speak to any funders?
So, yeah, so I currently, through the school design work I do, I'm aware of the funders that are getting work on whether they'll some things work around that. And so we look at the funders who are already doing design work, classroom design.
Can you talk a little bit more about, specific skill sets that you
Yeah, so a lot of times teachers are now looking to redesign their classrooms toward cultivating 21st skills, so critical thinking, problem solving, collaboration. So the filters that we would build into the program would allow them to look at ways to design those classrooms, their classrooms to promote those sorts of skills. Now,
What would make a teacher want to take themselves and say, this is my model, and show it to the
Teachers are proud of what they do because they do amazing work all the time. I know a lot of teachers that love sharing great ideas with the teacher next door or a teacher friend that teaches in another district. Teachers want to share this information because this is what they're passionate about, and we're really not worried about that. We know that they're going to.
Great job, Team Spatial Intention. Up next, let's give a friendly and warm welcome to Leakages.
Good evening, everyone, and we are Leakages.
Leakages! So there's a big problem in professional mentorship today. And that problem, as you can imagine, is two-sided. So on the side of high school students, especially for these high schools like career academies, that are becoming more and more popular in California, that have a strong professional development focus, it's really hard for them to get in contact with industry experts that can provide mentorship for their students. We found that there was a ton of bureaucracy, and schools didn't always have the capacity to pay for mentorship coordinating. On the side of the corporate partners, there's actually a lot of demand to be mentors for interested students. They really want high-quality students that are really interested. They just find there's a ton of friction trying to get into schools. And there are a bunch of mentorship platforms that are out there today. However, most of them are either focused on individuals rather than partnering with schools, or they're focused on college students. And we think that linkages can do this a lot better. There's three primary aspects to our model that we think are really different. So first is we're providing structured activities with easy scheduling. So a lot of the mentorship programs that we look into really didn't have a way to structure that relationship. A lot of mentors thought that was a major pain because they didn't really know what to do with their mentors. Next, we train the students in professionalism, and we'll talk about this more in a second, but
built into the platform, which is a cool part of it. And lastly, we're going to handle the onboarding logistics, so the paperwork, background checks, which is a huge part of that friction piece. So a bit more about the product. So it functions as a professional social network online, sort of like a LinkedIn, but for high schoolers and for mentors. And students and professionals build out their personal profiles. That's sort of an example there. You'll see it more in depth in a sec. And then the students must complete tasks to unlock actually being able to contact these mentors. So this is the built-in professionalism. So things like doing research on that industry, looking at other profiles of related experts, and looking at past organizations that mentor has worked at before you can actually reach out and try and access the mentor. A little more. And students can then follow mentors and make requests for activities. So things like job shadowing or career counseling is sort of built in. They know the activities to do and make it really easy to schedule. And lastly, admins can track these relationships, see sort of the progress their students are making as they network.
So after conducting user interviews and research, we were able to gather what it was that most mentors and mentees would be most interested in accessing on the website, such as linkages. So here is just a side-by-side glance of a sample mentor page and mentee page. And you can see right away that the mentor is able to get a glance of the mentees or students that he or she is working with, the different types of activities that they can do together, and the different ways of connecting with students today. So a quick snapshot of what a mentor page might look like in detail. You have different activities, again, sort of a summary of their calendar, what's planned out for the week. They can take a look at the students that they are working with, their profiles, their interests, and find ways to connect with you so that they get a better understanding of what it is that they do.
So just like the dashboard on the mentor page, a student also has one, and at this page now, the girl, a person or a student is able to make a job shadowing appointment, and what she gets from this is she gets a mentor, or can find a mentor. She learns professional etiquette, and also she can expand her knowledge of different jobs.
Great, and as we talked to folks this weekend, we got a lot of positive feedback, both from the school side, from schools who said that their students were really high level in terms of, especially ones who were preparing for trade, who started to find the right mentors. And then on the company side, folks who both just wanted to do this as a mentorship piece, but also to build up their pipeline and use it as a recruiting tool. And so to fit out our business model, we decided to go with a nonprofit approach, which is probably really flexible. A lot of schools tend to prefer to interact with nonprofits. A lot of grant money in California right now around these career pathways that we hope to go after. And then there's also sort of some traditional fee-for-service models, like there's a teacher match, which helps with the teacher hiring process. There's a lot of schools that outsource the particular functions. So schools might be able to pay us, as well as professional partners that want to build a pipeline.
Yeah, this is a part of making this. Well, I mean, we know that there is demand. Several of us have worked with different programs and businesses that are seeking. They want to go into schools, they just don't have the, they don't have to get in. We know that there's demand from schools or because it's difficult to sort of do all the improvement and screening and training and all that stuff. So in terms of what's difficult about it, I guess I don't have an answer to that.
I think the most difficult part is going to be to establish trust. We are asking teachers and parents to allow their students to come onto the site and meet professionals, or these people who self-report as professionals. And so the screening process has to be good, and we have to start small and carefully and build a certain amount of trust before we can really start expanding and asking people to trust us more.
Yeah, just to piggyback on these points, one of the things we did see in some of the other programs that's hard here is you have two phases of mentors already. one of the things we're really interested in is figuring out the go-to-market strategy, but also the keys of how do we build partnerships with these communities, whether it's from local chambers of commerce or the parent network, but we have to sort of build a base of mentors in a particular area and community.
So one something I think in terms of actually coming from making some good people in industry. Just like is around and the go-to-market strategy, how are you going to build these people and get people on both sides?
Well, I know in a lot of schools these relationships are already in place. It's just not a great way of communicating. For example, I'm going to talk to kids tomorrow afternoon about automotive. I have no idea what they want to talk to me about. I can't go there every night, but I'm more than willing to answer questions on a forum every day. And you know, it would be interesting if I could go on like this website and see that the kids have already talked to someone else I know in the automotive industry, and they already have some skill sets. So I think it's going to be about building out relationships and formalizing those relationships that are already there.
Also, in addition to that, many schools in California are creating these academies within schools that have an industry focus. And what they need is a way to partner with professionals to give students hands-on application experience. So I think starting out one of these academies might be a great way to begin, and then we will build out from there.
I work in a condition of the food academy as well, and one of our biggest issues on the challenges is what I'm feeling you're asking that the students do a lot of the contact as well. That is the challenge for us to actually go online, like have that actually relation to that. So what would be the challenge for students? I was just excited about wanting to do a contact. We do a lot of contact.
So I'll say something quick and hand it off. So we did really care about having this admin supervision piece so that you could track that progress, but I think there's aspects of gamification and some other things that we're interested in talking about.
Yeah, we have prompts built in, and we have sort of levels that you have to move through, so you're not allowed to actually contact a mentor to get to the task. You can also share your progress with your friends. And so it's just, there's a lot built into it to just kind of make it fun for kids. And yeah, that's it.
And your final team of the evening is Click Drive, so let's give them a warm welcome.
If you have ever been in a school and been scared as a parent, as a teacher, or as a student, you will understand the need for Click Thrive. When a fight breaks out in your classroom, you're on the other side, opposite from where the telephone is. You are scared and overwhelmed and disoriented. If you do get to the phone and you call the front office for help and it goes to voicemail, you are frustrated. Click Thrive empowers teachers and students to efficiently report safety and maintenance issues and be able to get a quick response. According to a recent California Healthy Kids survey, we have more than 50% of high school students reporting that they do not feel safe on their campus. We have 65% of ninth graders in Oakland that report that they do not have a role in making their schools better. Click Thrive aims to change that. On the other side, we have 85% of our secondary students, middle and high school, using smartphones. We want to capitalize on this technology use so that students and teachers play a part, an important part, in healthy and safe campuses. Let's take a look. With just a couple of clicks, students and teachers can make a difference with Click Thrive. For students, they can report safety or maintenance issues. We're maximizing smartphone technology. They might use voice, photo, or text capabilities to do reporting, to send a report. When custodial staff or administrative staff, including school security officers, site administrators, and front office staff, when they get the push notification, they can let the user know help is on the way. From a data perspective, administrators and maintenance staff can prioritize their workflow and be able to coordinate support. So for site administrators, they can say, I see that you have it. I see that you're already there and you've already handled it. I'll go to the next one on the list. Our team, which includes mathematician Brian, education professor Jackie, and myself, Kathy, an Oakland Unified School District administrator, along with the incredible support here from SWEDU. We want to see this made to support safe and healthy schools. We already have early interest from district leaders in technology, in human resources, in operations, and in facilities. We have definitely reached out to our network to say, can this be done? Will this be done? Is there a need? Let's make this happen. We are looking to identify resources to build this capacity first to 5 pilot schools and eventually scaling to all 86 schools in Oakland Unified School District. Replacing the current ineffective, cumbersome maintenance request system that we have now. We cannot rely on phones when we have the technology available without additional capital investment to do this type of work that is so needed for safe schools. We need pro bono developers and designers. We will make this happen. Together with my colleagues in Oakland Unified School District in facilities, in tech services, the business office, human resources, as well as student council, we want to make sure that everyone has a voice in having safe and healthy schools. Many eyes, one vision, one voice, click, thrive.
So how do you make them, or do you?
Schools and school districts would be interested in better systems. In talking to tech leaders and tech services, the school districts purchase maintenance requests. We currently have contracts for that. And actually, we've purchased new ones like every 3 or 4 years, just according to our current data. So it's definitely about time to look for a new system for maintenance requests, one that's actually more effective, that takes into account student voice and more efficient in capitalizing on the technology that we have instead of purchasing new technology.
In teaching and you at the school and the willingness of committees, how does this not feel like work activity? If it's about the safety part, so kids taking photos and fight going down, the word is off, there's another teacher, and the teacher get in trouble because it's fight even really that part. And then the part about the responding, that's a cultural thing. How do you address, you can call, but it is a follow-up. But the real follow-up, that's the part that look at this, does click and they want to thrive and nothing happens. It just kind of really the same culture that we have already. How do you keep that possible?
Absolutely. So there are 2 parts to that question. One is the aspect of building civic engagement with our students and with communities. That civic engagement is key. If you are a part of a school community, that part of being a part of a community means that if something is wrong, you play a part in helping to make it better. And that takes a type of cultural shift. We already have initiatives in our district, in Oakland Unified, around civic engagement in the digital age. So how do we build on that to increase the capacity for that in our district? And the second piece is around a culture of responsiveness, a service-oriented culture, where that when someone asks for help, you do not ignore it. It makes for a more public level of accountability as those of us that serve schools to say, yes, a child is in need, a teacher is in need, that we respond, and that's what we do.
You stop kids from this under control.
Absolutely.
So algorithms can be developed to act as a filter, and so that way if many requests are being sent for the same exact thing, like they won't show up with 60 reports of a pipeline on and they're gonna, where a filter may not be 100% efficient, they could still be effective.
And we also work to, so we're trying to decrease the noise level, but also to allow the administrators and receivers to see kind of where issues are, but also to look at data from users, to look at IP addresses, getting that information to say, okay, it is not okay to say that there is fire when there's not a fire. Sure. With our pilot schools and really capitalizing on relationships that we have and interests that we've already generated, and then moving from that to get information around, okay, how does this work with your school? What are some of the issues? Or what does it mean to scale this up to all schools?
Awesome. 10 absolutely amazing teams. Let's give everyone an amazing round of applause. Not everybody has the courage to solve problems in education or the willingness to spend 54 hours of their weekend in a room with some super crazy people. So our judges are going to go deliberate in room 125. So you guys feel free to go deliberate. While they're deliberating, I just wanted to go over a few things. First of all, again, thank you to our organizers for this awesome event. Definitely, I have some other cool stuff I want to share, but first, I need your help because I have a challenge for you. And you lived in this space for the past 54 hours, and it's looking a little less clean than it started out. So I'm going to propose a challenge, and I'm starting a timer on my computer to clean up your room and bring your stuff back here in 7 minutes. And I want to see which teams are the fastest at cleaning. So if you've ever watched Big Comfy Couch on PBS, that's what we're doing. So after you're done cleaning your room, if you can help us, the organizers in the lobby, and last team back here are cleaning, well, you don't want to be that clean. Okay, help us clean. Thanks, guys. Woo!
That's swag! FT dubs!
Oh. There's stuff.
Laser beam! Laser beam! Good job.
Thank you.
You guys got this next one?
Okay, that's right. Yeah. Selfie.
No, a bird.
Oh, bird? Jose, broadcast?
What's that?
Is it broadcasting?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, we've got other softwares that used to have
tail. Oh no, it tastes like a bee, but it's like it's very tight. It's nothing like not. It's only like your and only like your school and sport. Sure, it's just that's hard to create your to like. Yeah, I was like.
I know, that was the best part.
I don't know. I just wanted to know, like, not every team is
Girly team.
Yeah.
It's cool.
You know, it's
What laser
broadcasting.
game? What's that? Yeah.
It's like,
Just don't show your face when you're good.
Your team was raving about you, even like when you weren't there. Like when they were practicing pitches, they had your face on one slide. And they're like, she rocked it. She was the lead of the team. Yeah. I saw Sarah come out one time and talk to Rebecca, and you're like what's a value proposition that we're going with? She's like, oh, we're doing the. You're like, okay, and just walked away. I was like, that's so strange.
did you come up with a prize?
Yeah. We both kind of came up with like the idea and like all the features and stuff because like we used different systems before, like Schoology, but they weren't very fun and they're built on the teachers basically, so the teachers could like on the same website enter grades and stuff. So they weren't really focused on the calendar, which is really all the students look at. And so
You guys are currently using Google Calendar.
well, we're using Schoology, which I can show you because I have a school iPad, but it's not very. You just click on the day, it's just every single assignment. It doesn't show like it shows what to do, but it's very bland. It's not very fun. But then on ours, like you have your school, you have your sports, church, everything on it. So yeah, it's fun.
I like especially like the part that you can check in.
Yeah.
Or like go to a hangout.
Yeah. Yeah. So Brian's doing the math homework with me, and I have no idea what problem 30 means. So I just go shoot him a text saying, like, how do you this up? Yeah. Oh yeah. Hey, or take a pop. Yeah. Okay.
I can send you a picture of
Okay.
Wait, bring your hat out of this.
Because we're on YouTube Live. Alright, oh yeah, we are.
So you go first.
No, not
Sure,
really.
you got it?
Alright, I'll go first.
Okay. Alright, I don't really got it. What were the dead guys?
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright,
do you want me to look at you?
Get your head out of the light.
No light.
Jeremy's a pro here.
Yeah, I'm not a pro photographer.
Wait for it.
It's like paparazzi.
Okay, now my dad.
Alright,
I'll work with my dad.
No,
Dad.
Hey, geez, I
Geez.
don't know. His pictures would be better than mine.
Say hi to the world. Alright. We can do a robot for them.
Thank you so much.
Well, that's pretty good. That was good.
Were you live feeding it or something?
They're right there. They're dancing. They're dancing for the world.
No, yeah, were you live feeding it? Because Jack's dad probably said he was watching it online, watched their presentation online.
Oh, glad I caught it. I didn't know if I accepted the right lead count.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Proud of
Yeah, so I was looking at the reflection and I was reading the slide backwards.
You were?
Yes, thank you.
Oh, thanks for no, thanks for no, thank you so much.
Why did you do that?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
If they work for our class, I know there are others there that can read. It's hard to know. Let's see how they go.
Ryan, did you do your math homework?
We're in touch with Jen, so we'll about 2 minutes.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
it's all been like
Oh yeah, yeah. You know, and what you can do is
What's the Niners win?
it's so delayed.
Exactly. Now, he wants enough resources that can make it happen. No problem. Exactly.
Like it's slow, get it, they were getting quick.
I started both friends.
I love it.
Very much a different class.
Yeah.
These guys, they're a bit earlier, but time for it.
Yeah, very careful.
Yeah, I was about to send you this before it happened. They had a paper scene.
There's someone at home watching it right now, laughing so hard.
I did not hear that one.
Maybe we'll be on YouTube. It's just, you know,
I got that workshop.
Yeah.
And then, so they had that, and then everyone brought over. And then
Dobby, you want to? So Dobby should watch right now.
Oh, cool.
so yeah, I watching.
Try to think whatever.
Yeah.
That's cool.
You guys call and be like, hey, obviously, people find
Wow. Wow.
I'm telling you, Jack, I'm the Nickers.
Yeah, that is cool. That is cool.
Wait,
Yeah, they're doing the right thing. I was like, Sarah, slow.
And I want you.
Yeah.
I want.
It's interesting to see their process.
Oh, hello, I was supposed to be. Did you watch it?
I don't work in this exact area. The area that I don't talk to folks at this level. I talk to folks usually.
He said, I'm watching other people here.
So I get to talk to them.
Yeah.
If I got called and they were 15, it's all gone horribly wrong for them. It's been a lot to call me. It's when they're farther down the pipe. I would get our law firm talk. Our law firm would come and talk to these guys. Although there may be states later.
Do you usually deal with like any particular hardware or software?
We do all. We recommend that. Typically,
Well, you get they're watching. Also, like
exactly. That's exactly what happens. So we have to represent the larger amount of money. The smaller folks, it's terrible, but they really, the amount of money that they would have to pay us, that's their money that they're they can't afford to pay our law firm. Right? So we have got to use a little bit different. Our law firm does do what they used to.
Does your firm do any work with us on Apple?
We know we are conflicted out. We have conflict. I can represent Apple.
That must be a lot of money that multi-year.
Oh yeah. So they probably they've got to spend probably. Yeah, they jump with significant. There's a lot of other, Microsoft and others bought I want to say it was.
I guess you got like top prize.
Not Kodak, but somebody else made it. They lost their portfolio social take loss of portfolio. They got a job. Yeah, it's all. There's a lot of battles. Most of
At some point, you do everything you only wanted.
Nobody fights though.
I'm working on something.
And then all the schools that don't have.
If I could get people to give me what I want to do.
I don't think so.
That's like a hobby, or is that like
it's a little bit more than a hobby. It's more than a hobby.
You're still wearing the shoes?
Yeah, and we'll see. I mean, I think one thing software is also the one where there's a lot of problems around the world. Rock County and solve Right. So a lot of problems. You think like YouTube?
My favorite.
So it's true. You walk around oh yeah. It's hard to know. Yeah. Oh, so the software area, it's always hard to know like where they need to work. It's a perfect way. Oh yeah, you can't get this. Yeah, exactly. That's why I like that. I would do it. Go back to something. People say like, oh, move there to go away. I would say, it's never bad. At the end of the day, people are social growth. They like to see how other people. Totally. Yeah, so I think what this there could be like a disaster or kind of thing, like that conversation. At the end of the day, the success of that. Yeah. My husband thinks I forgot.
I've been actually thinking about my first one and felt an experience
Yeah. I would say yeah. Next time, I would really describe already. I think it's oh, they did awesome. That's crazy. And she found out about it. And yeah. Well, I knew she was going to grab it. Yeah, well. Nice to meet you. Okay, good. Awesome. All right, great. Thank you.
What's up? How's it going?
Great.
Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay, cool. Up next, we are doing community voting. So, if you can hear me, you can be quiet. Okay. Awesome. Okay, so what I need is one rep from each of the teams to come on up. Yeah, all teams, one person. Just send anybody. It doesn't have to be a leader, just one person. Well, you're all leaders, but.
I'll go. Sorry.
Okay, this is where we start throwing pies in people's faces. I'm just kidding. Okay, so one person per team. So I need you each to take 2 Post-it notes and pass them on. Are these all of our teams? We have 10 people up here, not yet. Who else is missing? Okay, cool. So each team is going to get 2 post-it notes. Each team is then going to go back and deliberate with your team members about what were your top 2 favorite teams that weren't your own team. So, write those other 2 team names really big on your post-it note, and in the bottom right corner, write your team name really small. And if you needed to remember what all these other teams were, they are conveniently located on this wall up here. Who would imagine that? Okay, so deliberate your teams, identify the top 2, put the team name really big on the post-it, and then your team name really small on the bottom right. And then bring them back up here. And, yeah, go do it.
Yeah. Try FF2 and all right.
Spatial.
No, MWC. MWC.
What grades?
No, spatial dimension and MWC.
Wait, M?
Yeah. And the other one do spatial intention.
So what's your favorite book? MWC? This is the first one.
Right? And then spatial.
Yeah, that'd be cool, like, you know, like layout. I don't know what
Sure, whatever. Fine.
F.
Oh, how about math, guys?
How many votes do you guys get? Yeah, 2 or 2? F. Wait, what's the F?
F2.
C or the company? That's what we're seeing right now. An FF squared.
You go her! Woo! She's a quiz on my computer. Woo! Crazy calendar!
As soon as this is over, we're going to have to hop in the car and get back because you guys have got stuff you got to do. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, and I'm gonna take you, Brian. I'm gonna take you to Dad's house, and then your dad's gonna drive it. Okay.
Oh, yeah, let's see.
You're on TV. And you just
Oh,
moved.
jeez. Sorry. Sorry.
Crazy calendar.
I personally think Crazy Calendar was the best. Another Crazy Calendar. This is like how
Yeah. Really? Yeah. So like James got green, Coder's got like red, Sarah's got like yellow, Cupid's got like blue. I think there's a red, there's people on. Yeah. Yeah, thank you. Calendar.
integrated.
can announce the winners.
Oh, we're live. Woo!
Wait, instead of challenge the thing where you would like get participation? Yeah.
Missing votes from one more team. Who are you? Where are you from? Okay.
Oh my god, that's me.
We nominated you FF.
Yeah, it's been tiring. I've learned a lot about photography, actually. I've been like adjusting white balance and like, you know, getting super blowing out the aperture, you know, dropping down that f-stop, you know.
Yeah.
This guy doesn't. It's also been like really cool. I don't know, like when that like the autism group was
And we're back!
Who's
ready to hear about the winners? Okay, so first one, I wanted just to give some shout outs to our sponsors. First up, I want to give thanks out to EdSurge, one of our media partners, for our start education. And EdSurge is actually hosting on October 1st an EdTech job fair. So I know several of you are looking for maybe switching into EdTech. It's on October 1st. It may have already sold out, but Helen, who was in here earlier for 8 of our presentations, she gave a special a code, so that way all of our participants here that want to go can get into the job fair. So we'll send that after this event, okay? By October 1st. So yay for EdSurge hooking us all up with new jobs. If you want a new job, I don't want a new job. Community partners, I want to give a big shout out to Class Dojo, Rogers Family Foundation, and Tech Liminal for the support and for reaching out. Next up, huge thanks to our nonprofit sponsors, Edutopia and Mouse Squad. Wasn't that like the best waterfall you ever had? And then of course, huge thanks to the Core Center for Social Impact and Adobe for helping sponsor this event and making it possible, and the amazing prize package for the winners. So thank you both of them. And huge thanks to Mills School of Education, Mills Graduate School of Business, and Oakland Unified School District for helping host us and help spread the word about our event. So thank you so much. And then, of course, huge thanks to our global sponsors, Google for Entrepreneurs, Amazon Web Services, Coca-Cola, and .co for giving us these amazing opportunities for you guys to thrive this weekend and for helping our organization work so we can do these amazing programs every weekend. Oh my gosh, I can't believe there it is. Okay, and then finally, the huge thanks to the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation for specifically sponsoring Startup Weekend Education and the Startup Education Program. So with that, I wanted just to remind you that if you're trying to connect with everyone here in class, and I have emails from everybody, I can give those out, but you can connect to everybody on Facebook, and I gave the wrong address here. Oh my gosh. So anyway, it's SWEDU Bay Area. I really didn't like this one. Anyway, I'll place it up at the end. But SWEDU Bay Area, you can already join. We additionally have several other upcoming opportunities to feature, which may not even be readable. But again, the EdSurge Job Fair on October 1st. We're also doing a really cool customer development and empathy and education workshop on September 23rd. That's actually going to be at the Class Dojo headquarters. So thanks Sam for hosting us. That's going to be really cool. Food sponsored by SWEDU Oakland, Oakland. So that's pretty cool too. And so with that, I want to announce the community voted awards, and I'm going to hand it over to the judges for their awards. So. And we will send out all the links, and again, there are also some more job postings and other opportunities on the wall. So if anybody else wants to add something there, we will get you it all by email and Facebook group. Cool. So, by a landslide, it looked, well, okay, we have a tie for second, and so no, we didn't. Okay. That was me not counting right. So, okay. Second place for the community vote, acknowledged by all of your community members, is Watch Talk / Mark Heidman. And our community's most favorite, which, just by the way, like every single team got a vote up here, so you're all being acknowledged for your hard work by every one of your community members. But number one favorite by the community is UM. I'm going to hand it over to the judges for what you've all been waiting for.
Right. Thanks very much. So I get the honor of doing the ceremonial pep talk before the third and second place and first place winners are announced. But it's really not just a pep talk. This is my second opportunity to get to judge the startup weekend, and I just want to say it's way easier getting to sit at the special table than it is to be up here pitching. That is very clear. That was our main feedback with each other. It was clear you all worked your asses off all weekend long, and you came up with 10 amazing ideas and organizations. So really give yourselves a huge round of applause. Participated in a startup weekend before and he lost. I don't think any of us have ever participated on your side, so really it was awesome. The other thing is there's a great tradition in startup weekend, which is oftentimes the winners do go on and do great things, but oftentimes people who don't win stay together, reconnect, and do really impressive things. So whether we chose you or the community chooses you or not, the teams that go the furthest are the teams with the passion, the vision, and just want to get it done. So it's really not about winning or losing. If you want to do it, keep going. It doesn't have to end here, although you do have to leave. And so, have one more note? No, I think that's it. So here you go, third place.
Development, full invention, and just exploratory vibe, and everyone, all this energy. That's how all works. So that's awesome. In third place, we have spatial intention. Why this was such a cool project was because there are a lot of teachers out there that are trying to figure out how to fit their more traditional classrooms into a 20% program. So this is good.
Yes, and in addition to that, congratulations. And also we presented the skills and the 21st century skills, but also the transition skills to the Common Core, and teachers are starting to know what that looks like and how to organize the classroom. That was huge. So congratulations.
So in the second place, I think what a lot of people think about technology, we think about that information. And actually, like, one of the most wonderful things happening is bringing people together to help each other. And I think for our second person, there's a team very good in that. Do that. Thanks very much, everyone.
Alright, so and then a drum roll.
That's history class. Woo!
So first of all, they're attacking a traditionally underserved market. So a lot of times, they'll think about special careers or special populations. They really bring things like how can we leverage technology for the special population. Also, just leveraging the latest technology, as you know, wearables are a growing market. And how do we really leverage technology? And then I think, trying to touch on marketing, there's so much applicability to other markets in the general market. Think about how do we question that.
Thank you.
Yeah, oh my gosh, it was such a best weekend ever, wasn't it? Great job, everybody. So excited about that. One thing I mentioned earlier, Educator and EdSearch both offer us opportunities to write for their website. So if you're interested in that or writing for the Start of Week in Education blog that I manage, we would love for you to add your names to the list up there. I'm specifically interested right now in one of the series that I'm working on is educators that want to take their learnings from like learning how to start a weekend and then taking it back into the classroom and applying entrepreneurial thinking within the classroom. So if you want to specifically write about that, you would feel like great. So sign up for that, and then designers and developers, we always have a hard time recruiting for you, so if you want to write anything about why educators why designers and developers or educators specifically should consider working in ed tech startups, you could be helping our entire industry. This is a really big thing. So definitely if you have interest on that, why am I being eaten by a grasshopper right now? And please indicate that up there. There's community opportunities out there, but we have a really important thing we have to do right now, and it's called a giant selfie, aka the group photo. So I need you guys to come up here. We're going to take a giant group photo. So you're going to remember today.
I thought you guys were going to win.
We're going to have multiple levels, so if people want to get down and if you want to stand up tall, that would be awesome.
Tall people in the back.
Tall people in the back, short people in the front. People in the front. Organizers, you're going to get over here too. Everybody smile. Cheesy. Everyone say Startup Weekend. Everybody throw your hands up in the air. Okay, what's next? Instagrammable. We know those terms about Instagrammable.